Yo, yo, yo. First podcast of 2026. So a little bit of a late show, but we'll be starting shortly. Let me get my camera turned on. Let me adjust some things. I'm on Restream. So let's see. That should be fine here. And enable camera. All right, cool. Got our feed. Just let me know if you can see me and you can hear me. So my plan for this year is to not only continue to do YouTube shorts and continuously to put out the videos, but I'm going to try to do like some weekly live streams just to get the consistency back when it comes to the live stream algorithm. Going to be experimenting with some things in the background and going to be bringing some new products to the channel. That's what I usually do, but got something coming in the mail actually as soon as tomorrow. So for you audio files out there that's on a budget, tune in to that. All right. So in the meantime, I'm just going to highlight Skulls. Yo, what is up, Skulls? Welcome to the stream. And I don't know if YouTube sent out the notification to everybody, but I haven't been I haven't did a podcast in a few months. So this will definitely bring it back up to speed and we're gonna have ourselves a conversation. Now, this stream is primarily going to be about streaming is convenient, but is it ruining home theater? We're going to be talking about that. What's my opinion? And if you wish to join the show and give your opinion, the link is pinned in the chat. Also, going to be going over some physical media stuff, some sales that's out there currently that a lot of you may be interested in. And then also, we're going to tie in with Kaleidescape. And I'm just going to be giving you like my perspective on the current landscape of things, if that makes sense. All right. So, generally speaking, when it comes down to streaming, for example, right? Mainly when it comes to streaming, everyone is going to be looking for convenience at the end of the day. Or rather that's through a website, whether that's through a APK or some sort of add-on if you're in that underground area. And also when it comes to legitimate streaming subscriptions. And there's even free applications as well. There's tons of ways to get to your content. If you have a will, then there's a way. Now, as I was upgrading my particular equipment in the AV space, I noticed two things. Uh, One, I noticed that the more you invest in your audio and your video, the more you're going to get out of it. Two, it becomes much more critical and you're aware that the streaming quality, you notice the differences, between like lossy and lossless. And it's like it's like that instant gratification, but at the same time, you do notice more of a difference as you study and then as you expand more in the space. So I like to utilize streaming in this aspect. I'm more of a live TV casual. I'm not like a hardcore person in that space. I'm pretty reserved. I like my boxing and occasionally UFC, right? When they have those pay-per-view events. And then, okay, the Super Bowl is once a year, but I'm not really into the live aspect like that. But what I like about it is one of the platforms and the businesses that I have collaborated with is Superbox. Some of you are aware of it. If you're not, Basically, Superbox is a device that you plug up to your home network, and then you go into the application store, download some applications, and then you're good to go. So when potential customers come to me about cutting the cable cord and what device that I recommend, I always ask them, what did you have before you're going to get into the streaming thing, right? Like, what did you have? Was it DirecTV? Was it Dish? Was it AT&T Spectrum? Because they're used to a certain interface. And a lot of these companies make it to where you see a TV guide, right? And then some of them have it called on demand. It may not be called on demand literally on each service, but they have a video on demand section where you can watch TV shows and your movies. Then they also have like your dedicated music channels and whatever package that they are paying for. So I like the probe. And the reason being is because, for one, I get to find out exactly how I'm going to make their life easier and save them money, and how that's going to save me time in the long run. So with streaming, it's really going to come down to, when it comes to business with your clientele, how I look at it, it's going to come down to their budget and their preference. Some people don't care about a dedicated player like a Panasonic UB820. Their form of watching movies and TV may be in a form of live TV viewing, continuously using that internet connection. So I showcase different devices on this platform that sort of caters to a little bit of everyone. However, when we're in the space of those consumers who are more hungry, right? When they see certain things, or even when you introduce them to external audio devices such as sound bars. Some of you are familiar with the Nakamichi series, right? The Bose. Even when it comes to the Sony lineup, there's a variety of different options that's out here. So what I do with my clientele is that I don't try to have them be on TV speakers or monitors. I try to introduce them to a whole nother world. And that world is, it's new to them, but that would be surround sound, to keep it a buck with you. And I work with them on budgeting systems, putting systems together, and then putting together a cord cutting package that absolutely destroys what they had prior. So these devices are not going to be competing with each other when it comes to business. They're going to be running in combination. Now, one of the key things that a lot of people can hear about on the interwebs, or even when you're in the forums, is, what's the big deal going on? Streaming versus physical media. How do you determine what fits best for you? That's going to be easy. Streaming is going to come down to convenience factor. Do you care about paying for legitimate services? Do you care about the originals? When I say originals, Netflix originals like Stranger Things, for example. Pretty sure that's a popular show, and you heard of that before. They may want to just use the original content, binge it, let's say for 2 to 3 days, depending on how long it is. They could span it out and break it down in a matter of a week, cancel it, and then move on to the next. The concept that I've been talking about mainly is that when it comes to these streaming services, a lot of the content that we've grown up on watching as we was kids, some of these content is being taken away, or they have like an expiration date. Like, I know HBO Max is notorious for that. The content that's on physical media, that's also on the streaming subscription services, if you're primarily watching those and not so much of the original or the exclusive content, you're going to get a much better picture and audio quality. And for one, you're going to own it. That's been sort of like the narrative that I've been trying to pretty much get across when it comes to this content. Now, it's apples and oranges. One thing about it is that when you subscribe to a subscription service, you have like this large mass library that you're able to instantly stream. Now, some of the service may have built-in advertisements, some of them may be ad-free. That's just going to depend down on what you're looking into and what business you're subscribing to. One thing about it is that with physical media, also, not only is it completely offline, but you don't have to worry about anything being altered. Some of these subscription services have what's called censorship. And if you care about the original video and you want to see everything of the content creator's intent, streaming may not be the best fit for you when it comes to that specific genre that you may be looking into. I like to get a little bit in depth in these conversations while still keeping it open to the possibilities of everyone's preference. Reason being is because they're going to be used in different ways depending on your day to day. For me, I'm not big on watching the news. I'll go on like X, which used to be called Twitter, or I'll look at an article, I'll read about the news, or I got like this new Amazon device. If I say the other A word, it'll go off on your
Can I
side.
help you with your
If
device?
you can hear that, be quiet, please.
I'm not sure what you're referring to. What would you like me to help you with?
Stop. But anyway, some of these things are going to be used inside your network for just different reasons. So I'm not big on live TV in the sense of watching the news. So I'm not going to be watching live TV every day. I'm more of a video on demand kind of guy. So I center my devices around that and I hook up specific things to my receiver that makes sense in terms of the money that I invested in. So all these different like ideas and tools is just going to be different options or if you want to be creative in some aspects, that's where we come down to. And skulls to make him dinner. Yeah. Hey, you know about that device? You can do quite a bit with it. So, but I just changed my wake word because I know majority of everyone, they probably use like y'all know the word. But anyway, when it comes down to it, when I got the Panasonic UB820, I wanted to get like a different source. Going back to the Pure, and that was physical media. I've had experience watching, streaming, downloading remixes. Some of you may know that. And then there's something called encodes. I know the difference between those. Breaking those down is simple. Whenever you have a remix, so for some of you that may be in a know, that's basically you're viewing the one-to-one copy of a disc, audio and video wise, minus the menu structure. And an encode is a compressed version of that. Now, discs are already compressed. So, what you're going to find when it comes to your physical media is that you're going to have discs that are stored on 66 gigs, and then you're going to also have discs that are stored on 100 gigs. It just depends on the studio and what plans that they have. The thing is, there's only so much data that you can put on a disk. So what's very popular these days, and if you don't wish to subscribe to the numerous subscription services, and when you do, it's pretty much like you're paying for cable again. So people are taking control and they're getting something like a Doom player or something like a Plex. I'm more of an NB person myself. and they're creating their own service. And that could be through physical media ripping, which that's not a straightforward process as you think it is, does have a learning curve, or they get it by other means, recording, um, news groups, peer to peer. You catch my drift, right? So the thing of it is that those would be the two popular, I guess, compression types, remixes or encodes when you're dealing with, I guess, more on the piracy side of things. Doesn't make you less wrong. You're just going about it a different way. All right. So generally speaking, with physical media, if you're a budget audio file and video file, that's how you're going to get the best out of your audio and your video setup. Um, Streaming services, specifically, like things like Netflix or Hulu, uh, they're compressed sometimes down to where there's a dark scene and you can see like the banding or just compression artifacts because the service provider has to make it to where everyone can have an enjoyable experience. That's just the nature of the business, and it is what it is. All right. What's up, Jeffro? Man, it's been a while, man. How you been? How's the family and all that? And definitely, because I know you have a entertainment setup, a home theater as well. So if you want to join, man, you're free to join. Would definitely like your perspective on this. Um, that's what's up, man. Nice seeing you. But the thing is with it is that you can also do this. So remember how I mentioned the streaming aspect of subscription services? You can skip that route, and then a lot of people they do the ripping or they get the remixes and they stream them through their network. Now that could be through a network attached storage. Uh, a popular NAS example is Synology. I know Ugreen is pretty popular or is making its way up in the ranks. They actually reached out to me for a review. I said yes, but they thought that I was probably going to like, I don't know, it's going to be in depth or whatever. I told them I'll give them an honest review, but I'm not doing no script stuff. But I just didn't hear back from them. But they're popular because they're straightforward. You plug in one end to the device and the other end into the router or the switch. Then you have an on-screen setup like a GUI, and it walks you through everything. If you look on my channel now, I have a Synology video. The other route is through just external hard drives or hard drive enclosures. Those will typically run you cheaper, and as long as you're able to connect it to a device to where you're able to allow sharing across your network, you have a network attached storage. Some of your routers may also have that capability where it has a USB. And I know Asus has it. Netgear probably has like the Ready Share. I think every major router has that capability, especially if it's a modern router. But you just have to dig into the settings and find out specifically how you want to go about it. You may want to do it from your computer. You may want to do it from your Sudo. You may want to do it from your NAS. I don't know. Whichever one or whichever way is easiest for you, then that's how people are going about sharing things and creating their own premium streaming services off their network. So that's another way. That's very popular. I've done it before. I have media players on my channel with Dune and Sudo where I've utilized that Synology NAS, particularly in combination with those. And I had ISOs and MKVs. I know all about that, right? So now it comes down to, oh, or a HDMI to a monitor it has. Yeah, the U green is nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. U green is cool. I like U green. When I was seeing videos of it was either people saying, "Hey, you could stop paying for cloud subscriptions like Google Drive or iCloud, and you can use this NAS." Or I saw the videos to where people was putting their physical media rips on it and just calling it a day. So if I were to get one for review, I would just use it for like business purposes, backing up stuff, playing around with it, maybe running some applications, trying to make some money with the thing. I do got a Synology in here somewhere. It's just that I lost like the cover to it because without it, you can clearly see like the hard drives inside, and I think I misplaced the power cable. But it's all good though. I can get me another one easily. It's just that when I come to the table with one again, I'm just going to present it differently as I did prior. That's all. The stuff I have mine doing Unreal. Yeah. Hey, like you can do some stuff with them. So as you can see, like these are options. And just the main thing that you want to do or you want to focus on is what's your goal, how much research you're going to be putting into things, because you're either going to be spending more time or you're going to be spending more money or you're going to be doing a mixture of things. So you just got to find out at the end of the day what works for you. All right. So I'm going to be getting into different devices. So I know streaming is extremely popular. I'm trying to tell the audience, I say, listen, if you're watching the content, if you love these movies and TV shows, like if you got like a passion for it, right? Maybe you invested in a sound bar, something like that. Got yourself a subwoofer. If you're not utilizing these services when it comes to their original content, binging, moving on to the next. If you're watching stuff that's on physical media, trust me, getting the physical disc is going to serve you well because now you have a physical disc and then you can back it up to a hard drive if you wish. Have yourself a backup to a backup, and you don't have to worry about it being altered, and you don't have to worry about a service removing it. It can be while you're in the middle of a TV series, literally watching it. And if it's going out at 12 o'clock a.m., that's it. Get up out of there. But if you have your own content, right, then you don't have to worry about that. So, pros and cons, pros and cons. All right. Now, what I will do is drag this over. Got some stuff that I want to show you guys. It's some nice sales going on. Just gonna do that. Make sure it reflects on let's do this. Okay, there we go. Let's do this. There we go. All right, so this is Groove, I believe it's pronounced, but they're having a 4K special, like 1 week only. All right, so this is a website that you can bookmark that you can use to check up on deals. So a lot of the things that I've been talking with people that's been emailing me or even that people that ask questions generally, I'll say, look, you can build your own media library, numerous arrays. I've shown Voodoo, Movies Anywhere, iTunes, Kaleidescape, which I will display shortly. But the physical media way, cost wise and quality wise, it's generally the option that a lot of people are going towards, especially with all these subscription services that's out here. So, what they have going on currently Uh, they got the James Bond, the Sean Connery six film collection for $80, 4K UHD. If you're a boxing fan, if you're familiar with Sylvester Stallone work Rocky, they got the six film collection for $60. And these are just things that you can go in and look. The Mommy trilogy, 20. They got the Jurassic World Ultimate Collection, $40. The Matrix, $35. The Game of Thrones, the complete collection, 4K, that's $100. What they had like seven seasons of that. So you get to see what I'm saying. This site runs deals and you can quickly rack up on your content by utilizing sales. You don't always have to buy things at full price. A Harry Potter 8 film collection, $70. The average film on iTunes is like 25 bucks. That's new. So do the math. You're saving money at the end of the day. Furiosa, a Mad Max 5 film, $50. Middle Earth 6 film collection. Well, that's a bit pricey for 6 films, but that's the Lord of the Rings. I think those are long, man. Like those like they're like 3 hours long plus. So yeah, yeah. And then you got the Godzilla Kong collection. That's $50. So you get the point. And you can sign up on the site. There's Shout Factory. They also do steel books. They do DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K UHD. And they got the Studio Ghibli, Shout Select, Screen Factory, and they got some Hong Kong classics. So I'll jump in on these, especially if you've been in tune with the content as of late when it comes to physical media. I did shorts on it. And then if you're looking for external audio solutions, I mean, it's kind of hard to utilize your new TV and your audio setup with just subscription services alone. That's my personal opinion. I got all the different like formats and comparison options, and I got different sources hooked up to my receiver. I'm telling you this from experience. If you're a budget audiophile or video file, this is probably going to be your best bet. And also, Zack Snyder, the trilogy. Okay, that's interesting. Got that for $30. Fast and Furious, 70, 10 movie collection. So you can just rack up. It, all right, two film, $20. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Not too shabby with that. Dark Knight trilogy. That is 34.99. So you get my point here, right? Then it's going to be TV series and different films. Then they got Batman 85th anniversary. And you pay $109.99. You get a 10 film collection. But if the price doesn't attract you, like for something like this, just pick something that does. So that's the beauty of options, right? So you just don't have to get everything from like these mom and pop shops or like these boutique labels, things like that, or even Amazon's very popular for buying physical media because of what happened with Best Buy and when they was checking their quarterly report sales and they was looking at everyone was waiting once a year to buy content. I mean, so this gives you another option. So bookmark it. Some of you may have known about it. Some of you have not. I think it's a excellent resource at the end of the day. And you can pre-order stuff as well, check out new releases. So they allow you to pre-order some stuff and you'll get handled with accordingly. All right. So one of the things with this is that a lot of the physical media shopping these days, especially for consumers that don't want to really go outside and look for these certain stores that have this content available, you're going to be doing it mostly online. So Amazon, uh, the boutique stuff like Arrow Video, things like that, the Criterion Collection. You can use Grove and just a combination of sources to get the job done. And it's all about for some people finding the right time and the deal. So I wouldn't mind showing this off. Some of you may have some of you may be into Stanley Kubrick, 3 film 4K collection. It's $30. So not too bad at the end of the day. All right. So next I'm going to get into Kaleidescape. Now I mentioned that the factual three were what? Streaming, and even that could be a variety of things, right? In itself. Then you got your physical media, DVD, VHS, Blu-ray, 4K. You got people that still have laser disc. Then you have a premium download option. Company been around for 20 something odd years, and they actually have changed their business model, believe it or not. It wasn't always a download type system from a server cloud. It used to be similar to what Sapedi did until they got busted, to where you will put your disk into the device and it will catalog it, and it will give you a digital interface similar to Plex, and you can view it without switching out discs. So they used to have that, and as the Blu-ray association, as the quality increased on physical media, right? They got into some legality trouble, so they had to change up how they was going about doing their business, and that's the backstory on that. All right. What's up, Rammer Jammer? Hey, hope everybody enjoying their evening so far or night, depending on where you're at. Welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're gonna be getting into Kaleidescape here. One moment. I just gotta sign in here. Sign in real quick. All right, show that, and voila. Oh, all right. So this isn't like a necessity. This isn't required. I've gotten some flack for this. I think everybody has gotten flack for this that did content on it that seems to enjoy it. Um, I don't really understand, to be honest. But basically, Kaleidescape is a platform, it's proprietary hardware. So they give you a server and a player, or you can get like an all-in-one. So they have like a Strato M, which is a 1080p option. Strato E is the new 4K recommended option, and then Strato V is a much more expensive 4K option. They call that the flagship, which is what I currently own. But really, all it is just 500 gigs more storage than the Strato E. And at this point, I will never recommend a Strato V to anyone. Because we're talking about a difference of like what, 1,500 plus dollars. I mean, of course, there's dealers, right? But I wouldn't recommend a Strato V. I'll just ask someone to get an E and then pair it with a Terra server and call it a day. That's just me. All right. So this is a platform where you're able to log in, and they got the AI going on. They have movies, TV shows, they have music. I mainly use it for the movies. I have some TV shows as well in my library. But what's cool about this is that you're able, similar to iTunes, how you can purchase a movie, right? And then you can instantly like stream it or even rent it. But this doesn't utilize streaming. So I want to make that clear because there was like a misconception. There was some different, um, I don't know if it was like a miscommunication. It wasn't on my platform, but you just hear things through the grapevine, right? About, hey, you can't connect a hard drive to this and view your content, or it, it was never intended that way. Basically, you use their stuff, you hook up a payment method, you connect to their cloud. This is their storefront, and then you download your content accordingly. And this is going to give you physical media quality or better. And what's cool about it is that when movies come out of theater, they go to digital. Well, when it hits this particular platform, you already have the 4K Blu-ray or better quality instantly available to you. Movies that are still in theaters, you have the Blu-ray quality instantly available to you. To me, there's no comparison to this. So but there's some caveats, and I'm going to talk about that. The reason why I've gotten back into physical media is because with Kaleidescape, with it being the almighty, the ultimate movie platform, it doesn't have everything. And that's something that the home theater influencers, they're not putting you on to. Like I watch Japanese content, right? So if you watch my channel, you didn't see me show some type of Japanese anime like Naruto, for example. So type in Naruto, right? Well, Naruto doesn't show up. Now, what's in my device chain? So if something's not on here, right? What's in my device chain that I can fall back on? Apple TV. So I gotta look at a subscription service, or I gotta purchase something through iTunes, or physical media that's going to give me the best possible picture and audio quality if it's not on here. Godzilla minus one. It's not on Kaleidescape. That's why you see me show I got the disc because it's simply the they haven't licensed with the studio. So there's going to be certain things that you run into where it's just not going to be on here, and it sucks. But I wouldn't need physical media totally if my anime content was on here. That's for sure because I really like my Japanese anime, and so there you go. But I'll show you my collection. Before then, there's recently added. This is what's recently added to the store, and this is all cool because you don't have to get up from your couch when you do something like this. The main thing about it is for you to download it, and then you have the best possible quality at your disposal. A lot of people like it because you can catalog your existing physical media collection, and you can get it at a cheaper discount through here. So you don't have to repurchase everything at full price. So that was one of the things that I have recommended a viewer on the channel to do actually. And I said, well, don't get rid of your physical media for a Kaleidescape. You can use that to catalog it, and you can just get them at a cheaper discount. And you got your physical media collection now on the cloud, and then you can download it whenever you want. Or if you get yourself a Terra server, you can download all that content and have it immediately available to you. And what do you have now? Your own premium Netflix, all downloaded offline. No internet required with this. The only time you need it is when you need to download something. And for me, it takes about, on average, 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and you're good to go. So they got special pricing. So these are things where you can like filter like different things, which is cool. And they always got sales going on. And I've told someone like when it comes to like the individual movies and things like that, sometimes it can be cheaper than physical media. Like you get what you pay for. It's a luxury device. Um, these are some of the things that typically in a hobby that the majority of people won't be able to sit at the table and do comparisons with because they have to have the equipment and the experience to back it up. So, with me telling you guys this, it's not a necessity. You can wait 1 or 2 months for the physical media release, and you'll get yourself, besides Disney, Disney neutered the video and audio too much. This, like, for example, It oh, jeez. Disney content on physical media? No, I can't do it because it's too compressed. It's too compressed. But if that's what you got, then it's whatever. But and I'm gonna have to do a dedicated video on that. Hey, what's up, Brooklyn? Hey, Brooklyn, I know you another one that's deeply invested in this hobby, similar to me and others. If you have anything to say, the link is in it's pinned in the chat. And for Jeffro, I don't know if Rammer, if you have like an entertainment, and you don't have to have a home theater. You know, you can come on here with, I know there's Sonos, Nakamichi. You can have a sound bar and still participate in this streaming and Blu-ray. And if you have a Kaleidescape, go right ahead and give your thoughts on that. So, oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. Brooklyn got a crazy setup. I seen that a while back. I know that to be to be fact. All right. So so when it comes to the table, right? Do you need a kaleidoscape? No. But there's something called um exclusives to where it may not be available on physical media like the 4K Blu-ray, but it can be on Kaleidescape. There's like 400 something movies that's like that. One example I can give you is, remember the movie? I think it came out in like 2021. It was the Tomorrow War. Now listen, that's an Amazon Prime original. You can stream that. You won't be able to get the 4K remix of that off of some site, and you won't be able to get the disc. It's not happening. It's not available, but it's on Kaleidoscape, and I'm gonna show you. You can't get see Amazon Original. So this is 79.6 gigs, guys. Now, I think the streaming version on Amazon supports Atmos, if I'm not mistaken. But the audio in here is DTS HD 5.1. The Kaleidoscape version looks and sounds more cinematic. You can hear the subtleties, the nuances of the audio, like in the battle scenes, like or the scene where they was in like the staircase and the alien revealed themselves. You hear it. It's not the spatial accuracy of Atmos, but you hear the lossless audio. You would instantly hear the difference, especially that opening scene in the movie where they're jumping in from the sky and they're going into the swimming pool. Go watch it on Amazon Prime right now. And then if you have a kaleidoscape, go and play that opening scene and you will understand why people are going crazy over streaming and physical media. That one scene will instantly, if you got the equipment. Now, if you got the equipment, you're going to be able to see it clearly and hear it, man. It's something. It was scary how compressed these subscription services is, but what are you going to do? Not everybody has the infrastructure. Everyone doesn't have the network. We're still quite a ways away. So, what people are doing is that they're getting the physical media, then they're ripping it, and then they're playing it over their network. And that's how they're streaming the lossless audio. or they can do it through an APK or a Kodi add-on. It's all type of ways. You can probably stream a Usenet file. I'm pretty sure Kodi will allow you to do that. And as long as you have the equipment, you will get the same video and audio on disk. Now, you won't get access to this. This is something different, but you will get something similar. I will say it's just similar, not the same, but similar. And it's a difference. It's a big difference. So let me see. I got a Bose system set up, just missing the satellite speaker is what they call. I got the 900 and the 700. All I need is two speakers and done with full setup. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, Bose is another brand that I heard of that's real ideal for a lot of people, just the convenience factor. So a lot of this is going to come down to like what you're willing to like spend and is it worth it? Now, because Kaleidescape is a digital platform, at any given time, they could go in and remove the movies from your account. Maybe they're falling out with a studio. They may be beefing with somebody. I don't know. And if you pay for that content, the right thing that they should do is refund you to your payment method. Shane Lee mentioned that he got some content removed. I don't know what was going on, if he reviewed something that he wasn't supposed to or he released it too early. I don't know the full ins and out on what happened with like Shane Lee when it came to Kaleidescape. But I do know that they can go in similar to any other digital platform like Steam, Movies Anywhere, Vudu, or iTunes. They can remove your content. Has it happened to me? No, it hasn't happened to me. All right, so this is my movies. Um, I like what you're doing, Fire. Appreciate that, BK. Yeah, so this is my content. I watched him. That was interesting. And they are having more Japanese content on here. So Chainsaw Man, I originally saw this on Crunchyroll, and this is also on physical media, like the TV show, but they got the movie arc. So Sony Pictures, if it's through Sony Pictures and it's an anime, it's gonna be on Kaleidescape. So I like this. And it's Dolby Vision and it's Dolby Atmos for an anime. That's insane. So yeah, I mean this system I love. I like the Creed series. Uh and then I just went crazy on the sales. I think I got these were the Thanksgiving or the Black Friday sales, if I'm not mistaken. So you can get sales through streaming, you can get sales on physical media, and you can get sales on Kaleidescape. If you don't want to purchase something at full price, you have options. Just understand that one of these three is more costly than the other two. And and just one player alone could probably be the cost of your entire setup. So a lot of people don't like this particular business model, nor are they comfortable with it because if something were to happen or they were to go under, if the content is not downloaded to your system and your player is disconnected, if it's not disconnected from the internet, you can have a possibility of like losing that. But if it's disconnected from your modem and your router, it's not hooked up to their server cloud and you have it downloaded, they can't remote in and remove it. It's impossible. Someone would have to physically be at your home in order to get to that content. So that's just something that's just a heads up in that case. I like to get some portable Sonos speakers because of what it does. Sweet. Yeah, real nice. Yeah, Sonos is another excellent brand that I heard. Um, I still gotta see the Harry Potter stuff. I still gotta see how to train. What I got downloaded currently is these. I'm thinking of watching this next because I heard something good about this particular film. But yeah, but this is just something to where, hey, they do all the work for you. You see with the metadata, with the posters, the titles, just everything. And I seen Lucy. I believe it came out in like 2014, and that was a nice movie. Look, the visual effects at that time was phenomenal. But Kaleidescape had a video and an audio update. So similar to how when you have a game system, right? Like Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, or even Steam platform, games get updates because it's digital. The same thing happens on Kaleidescape. So remember when I said that a disc, you can only put so much on a disc, right? But because Kaleidescape is a premium download platform, it's unlimited. The floodgates is off. The sound is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, and the video is showcasing the creator's intent. So even though it's not a necessity, it's certainly a game changer if you have the funds or the flexibility. And it's only when you combine these sources, physical media, Kaleidescape, and streaming, particularly, it can either be with a NAS setup and your own content, or even with subscription services, you're going to see clearly the differences between all three. And then you can better educate your clientele. And then once you have the sources, that's it. You got the receiver, you get the speakers, and then you go on from there. So it's all about options. But I want the subscription services to step their game up, particularly not with the originals because they got original content. I want them to step their game up in terms of quality. Just let's let's work towards at least giving like lossless audio. The video is sometimes pretty clear enough to where it's more than passable. It's mainly the audio that I'm concerned with. And they can just get that lossless audio and then keep the video between like maybe 25 megabits per second and 30, similar to a iTunes, they'll be better off. So that's just my opinion. All right. So cool platform. Got the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I almost got all the movies. I gotta get my Thors up. Ant Man, Doctor Strange, but I got majority of the Marvel content. The Hulk. They still got this price at 24.99, like 66.6 4K HDR10. Okay, at least it's in Dolby Atmos. And then they got content sets. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So this is a good question. Did you watch every IMAX 2160p UHD Remux HEVC True HD Atmos 7.1? I don't think I watched every, and I know exactly what you're talking about. IMAX? Yeah, I know exactly what sources you're talking about, Brooklyn. I did see some to where what happens is there's some alterations going on. So I'll bring up Disney Plus, for example. I'm glad you mentioned that, Brooklyn. So Disney don't want you to pay for the physical media, and that's just a one and done. They want you to keep coming back to their service. So for their content, particularly their movies, they have an IMAX aspect ratio on the service, but the physical disc, you're just stuck with, the cinematic, the 2.35, the cinema scope. So on the sources that Brooklyn's referring to, and you don't have to put them in the chat, they give you the IMAX and the Remux. So That's something that y'all should look into. That specifically is only available in certain sources. It's not on physical disc, at least not from Disney, unless they change some stuff. But they're sneaky, and then they got Sony handling their distribution of their physical content. Because it was one point to where Disney wasn't even releasing physical media; they were just having you go on their app, or you got it in other ways. It was still streaming. So but yeah, but I haven't watched every IMAX Remux. No, I think that's impossible. I got I got limited movie time as it is. But if you don't have a Kaleidescape system, the Remux would be the next best thing. I'm telling you. And for majority of cases, unless it's Disney, you're pretty much going to be neck and neck or similar to Kaleidescape. What I like between the 2 also, because I have this in the title, with physical media, what I noticed with the Panasonic, UB820, um, particularly let me go here, switch that off for a bit. With the Panasonic UB820, I noticed that even though the audio is lossless, I calibrated my stuff too with Denon Odyssey. So I also calibrated dynamic volume and dynamic EQ. So I got the dynamic EQ stable enough to where it's not overwhelming. And that basically gives you bass at lower volumes according to the reference level. And then the dynamic volume, it brings up the track to where you hear everything. You hear more of those subtleties. You hear more of those nuances. The sounds that you're not supposed to hear in a full dynamic range to where it's real quiet or a little quiet, your speakers start singing. And if you have a Denon Marantz, I think Onkyo has Odyssey, you you have some options. Like that sounds phenomenal. But in comparison to Kaleidoscape, uh Kaleidoscape is like loud. So I remember if I was in the Dolby Cinema watching Fast and Furious, the latest movie, and typically reference is at 0 dB, especially when you're in like a home theater, things like that. Well, Fast and Furious sounded loud, like loud to where it was pretty much a little bit annoying. And that's how Kaleidoscape feels like. And it has like the loudness of like a DTX track, but the lossless aspect of Adobe Atmos, if that makes sense. Basically, on the Kaleidoscape version, the dB is higher than what you would see on physical media. That's also a difference. So when you're in a Dolby theater, the Kaleidoscape, in my personal opinion, is going to stand out because it's loud. It's in your face. You hear it like it's like damn, like whoa. But on the Panasonic UB820, it's not as loud. I mean, you can crank your stuff up, but you may hear more of like the subtleties of the particular track, or a little bit like if somebody's like whispering, you may hear that distinct. And there could be like some action going on Kaleidoscape. It's like boom, and it hits you in the face. But on the Panasonic, it can be a little bit more of an ease in, like boom, and still has that volume control. Which is better? I mean, that's kind of up to you and your equipment. Each receiver and processor is different in terms of how they present themselves, and everyone's ear is different. But those would be some of the differences that I have noticed between the two, particularly. Um, let's see. I'm sorry, Pen. I was using voice command. It don't work right. I was only asking you, did you ever watch any of them? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've watched I watched a few. I watched a few back. The IMAX one, particularly, I've seen a few of those on my NB Cloud, but I'm mostly stuck with like the physical media version, like where it just said 4K Remux. I'm mostly just stuck with those. But either or will get you to the right destination for sure. Yeah, the Kaleidescape is the best. Yeah, I like it. It does have like content that's not on here. So obviously you can supplement it. So it kind of makes sense as to why someone would have like a Arvolution, or let's say it's a do, and then you pair it with a Kaleidescape. And then I don't know, like for me, I like things simple. So for my live TV, I have a super box connected to my receiver because they send me products. So it's no reason for me not to use them, and I don't have to pay a monthly on it. So all my stuff is like, with Kaleidescape, I just gotta wait 10 minutes for a download on average. But all my stuff is catered to like getting to the content. Now, the only thing with the Panasonic is because it's a physical media player, you do have to see like the FBI warnings. You do have to watch the unskippable advertisements. And if that bothers you, when you do a ISO on or a BDNV, and Brooklyn can attest to this, if you do that on, that's like a disk backup. But if you do that on a Doom player, as a Do or Revolution player, you're able to skip that and get straight to the content. They have an option to where you can just play the content directly. It goes straight into the movie or the TV show. With a physical media player, only select content has that. Like the movie Prey, I believe that has something called Instaplay, and it's pretty much dictated by the studio. So as soon as you load in Prey on the Panasonic, it takes like maybe 10 seconds, if that. And then you instantly see the menu. And then they have it to where you don't even see the scene selections. It just says play or go into like scene setup, go into the full menu. You can play it from there. So some disc, be aware of this. If you're not going to go the physical ripping route with the ISO or the BMV, the BDMV, and you just want to play it back on the player, be aware of seeing those FBI warnings, not being able to skip through the unskippable advertisements, and then you finally get into your content. That could be anywhere from, I don't know, 2 minutes to four. It depends on the disc, to be honest. I'm just lucky with the movies that I've had so far. I can just get straight to the content. But one thing about it, you can also rip to something called MKV. Okay, so that's where this remuxing come in. Um, where the remuxing come in is that when you take the content off the disc and then you mux it into a container. That's what MKV is. It's a container. And then you get the same lossless audio and the video that's on that disc, and you put it into a MKV. You remux it. And you can also use that as well. So it's plenty of ways to do this. Plenty of ways. And I've done them all. If you go on my channel and look, I've done them all. So when I'm speaking to clients out there, or even when I respond to an email, I can answer almost any scenario. I had a Kaleidescape, but I sold it. Yeah. Wait. Let me guess, BK. Let me guess. Was it because you couldn't fully control what content you put on there? Did that have something to do with it? Because I'm pretty sure like the quality on your setup was stellar. Like I don't doubt that you had an issue with the quality. It could have been with the control aspect, that control. But let me know if I'm right though. Let me know if I'm right. I've been getting some remux lately. I have some for a minute. Yeah, yeah. With the remixes, you can store it. Look, one thing about it, if you store those remixes and you back them up, you set. Um And I can't show those sources. I know what you're talking about, Skulls. Believe me, I can only show this on stream, but I know what Skulls talking about. Hey, but I will show this. Hey, this where you get your remuxes from. Let me share my screen. Hey, so this where you get your remuxes from. You can log in, you can join. There's even like a Blu-ray app that you can download on like your iPhone or your Google Play, your Android device. You see it here, right? And they got deals going on Blu-ray.com. It's always something going on. So like you should never be without content. No matter what you do. All right, there's always something going on. Um, all right. We could talk behind the scenes and I'll let you know. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I'll hit you up in Telegram then. Drives are costly. Yeah, yeah, they're costly. Um let me do something real quick. Let me sign out. Cool. So I'm gonna share this particular part. So and this is just one particular brand, but there's something called like shucking drives where you take the stuff out of the desktop drives and then you can put them into like a hard drive enclosure or a network attached storage. You can do it that way. And then you're going to have your drives dedicated. So you got to do your research. Like this one says W Red Plus NAS. So this is pretty much telling you that it's NAS optimized. So doing your research on what type of drive you're getting is important too if you're going to go down like the ripping route of all this. Um, and some of these like different tools or terminologies may be overwhelming for new core cutters that's trying to like keep things simple, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible. Um, you just gotta like do your research accordingly. All right. Now, typically my shows are about an hour or a little bit over an hour. Um, if I had a panel, it would have been definitely extended. But if you guys have any last questions, I can leave it open for about 5 more minutes and then I'll shut this down. Yeah, but cost to entry, physical media is going to be like where it's at. Just most people just wouldn't do Kaleidescape, and you'll be in good hands. You'll get the best possible quality, and you'll own it. So people want to own things, so you got options at the end of the day. I just bought the 24. They was on sale in Best Buy for 279. Okay, so you got the 24 terabyte NAS drive. Interesting. Okay, cool. So curious, what well, BK, you probably are rocking all the players, but what's the player that's hooked up on your entertainment set, like your main player? Because with these receivers, they have like multiple HDMI inputs, like they give you like 6 to 8 typically. So, what's your main player that you use? I know you may have all of them, but what's the main like? What's your go-to? Because someone asked me if I still had a Zadoo when I uploaded that short on my physical media disc, and I told them, yeah, I still got it. It's put up, but yeah, I still got it. I'm using 5 of the inputs out of 6 on my dental receiver. So I was thinking I was either going to have another IPTV box as a backup, or maybe slowly get back into the Zadoo type of content. I don't know. Um, that's more time consuming, but the beauty of options. And then that way, if I do get sick of the unskippable advertisements and just dealing with the way you load in the disk, I have a alternative method as well. So I'll see. Ain't nothing wrong with it. So let me see. I have 2 devices. Okay, well, BK, what what devices? All right. Okay. Zadoo. All right, Zadoo 3000. Is that on Amazon? It probably is. Let's do this because I know they have a website. So I just goes there. Let's go here, copy that here, and boom. So so this is a zoo. So if you don't want to go the physical media route, or you don't want to go the Cody route, Jellyfin, MB, or Plex, you do have this option. And I reviewed the Zadoo Z9X, not the 8K version, but the one below that. I think it was the Pro that I reviewed. But yeah, Zadoo's an option. And then you said the Zadoo 2000. Okay. Oh, you mean like this 2000 Pro? Interesting. Yeah, because I still have my Z9X Pro and this HDMI 2.1. So it shouldn't be any like blackouts or any weird like timing between sources. But if I were to pick one to get new, it would probably be the Z9X 8K. It'll probably be this. Yep, HDR10 plus. Uh-huh. Yep, AI picture quality. And so dudes are nice. You just got to put the work in. So as long as you like tinkering and ripping, archiving, all that, and granted, there's software that makes it way easier these days. You can rename stuff with Sonar and Radar. You can rename stuff with FileBot. You got different management options out here. Different like tool sets, like I know DVD Fab. You can use that to make a backup, like an ISO, or you can do the MKV. You got software out here to streamline it, but it still work, but it's doable, and it could be fun to some of you that's out there. So I like to do. Ain't nothing wrong with to do. I have okay, so check this out. So BK, like would you like to join this particular restream like behind the scenes, or you want to schedule for another time? Because I, I I got a 3-day weekend because Monday's the holiday. So I'm not working on Monday and I'm not doing nothing on the weekend. It's snow outside. It snowed earlier, I think. So we can have like a home theater discussion. Skulls, you're welcome. Anybody's welcome to join. Um, I'm surprised I've been on this long, but luckily I have you guys still talking to me because I mainly just do my videos and keep it moving. Our Revolution. Yeah, let me show that real quick. Now, our Revolution are the same people that was with Sapedi. And you know about Sapedi, boy. I like their interface better than you know what's crazy with our Revolution is that yes, when you're streaming, okay, cool, bet. Cause I would love to have a more in-depth discussion on these players. Um our Revolution, they use Doom like option menu. Like if you look at Doom when it comes to the settings, our Revolution matches it. It's just that I wish Doom used our Revolution's like UI. Like I think Doom got like the best playback engine out of all of them. You're guaranteed when you use like a BDNV or a ISO, that Doom player won't give you no type of problems. But the interface on it is lacking versus the competition. It's lacking. Rich, oh, what's up, Rich? Can I join the background and stream? Absolutely. We're using Restream, but it doesn't require you to have an account. So all you have to do is just click the link that's pinned in the chat, and then anyone's welcome. Like, if you guys didn't want to hop on a live feed, come to the background so we can get in depth. Cause I got one more HDMI available on my Denon, and I'm thinking I'm really I'm because if I get another to do or something like this, right, along with the Panasonic, let's just say I have a problem ripping something. Let's just say it's giving me some errors. I could go I can go use another software like Make MKV or DVD Fab, right? Or I can just say, matter of fact, screw that. I got the disc, just put it in the Panasonic and call it a day. So this would be this would be another option, and it will ensure that I have some more flexibility. So I'm really thinking of going. I'm thinking about it. Uh, I probably want me a NAS. I don't know. Mm, I may get a hard. I don't know. You know, I have the Dunes also. Oh yeah, hey, Brooklyn. Trust me, I know you got them. I know. I'll bring up the Dune stuff as well. So I'll share this real quick, and then we can end the show, and then we can get to this behind the scenes talk because I like devices now that when it comes to my receiver that solves a problem. And the device that's really only limited is the super box, but I don't need it to have the surround sound, such as a Blu-ray player or a Kaleidescape. I just needed to watch my live TV. But when you start investing into your audio and video, and you guys can relate, you want devices that make sense. And if it don't make sense, then you kind of it's kind of a waste of money. So we can talk about that too. You know how you guys feel about that in particular. So, are the doing options? Um, oh, Skulls is on. Skulls jumped on. Skulls said he ready to go now. I don't see the link is pinned. Hey, now listen, we're still live, BK. So as soon as well, this is Doom. If you go on my channel or you can go on Brooklyn's channel, you can see about the Doom options. These are basically DIY media players that's meant to play back your physical media collection. They're not streamers like a Roku or a Apple to where you're going to jump in and you see your legitimate services. They don't have the proper licensing for that. You can download applications from the store. The stability of them would be questionable. So only use these to play back your rips or your downloads. And it's just like to do similar, similar, and it's like our evolution. So with that, I'm gonna paste the link in the chat, and then we can end this, and then y'all can just come backstage.
Party time. Dun, 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 dun.
Hey, yeah. So Rich, Jeffro, you still around, or anybody else that's lurking? If you got an entertainment setup, it don't matter if you spent $10 on it. I just want to hear what's your opinion on all this. So there's the link. I'm gonna end the show, and I look forward to having this discussion with y'all. All right, peace out. Thank y'all.